This is why you should never be alone on a beach. Crocodile. Beach is a place where people expect to spot fishes, turtles, and sandcastles, but not a crocodile definitely. It was once when sunbathers in Mexico were enjoying a sunny day and suddenly something terrible took place. They were startled to see a massive crocodile appear out of nowhere. Despite the fact that it didn't mess with anyone, it can undoubtedly pose a hazard. To the reaction of spotting a giant crocodile, the sunbathers were naturally a bit on edge. However, it didn't hurt anyone and went right by them into the waters of the beach. Life-threatening cobra. Back in 2014 in Cape Town, a man by the name of Jeffrey Rink was just taking his usual Sunday walk on the Hout Bay beach when he came across a massive Cape cobra. It was basically 6 feet long, which is the size of a tall person, and was apparently enjoying the beach just as much as old Jeffrey. Everything seemed okay until the creature noticed Jeffrey and then tried to flee, but eventually failed. Though the giant creature didn't tend to harm, but what if it would have? So, one should be pretty much careful while going on the beach, as there can be venomous creature present. Jellyfish infestation. This usually happens in Spain, but in 2018 it was much more bizarre than people thought it would be. It was not one beach that experienced such an incident, but many other beaches that line the coasts of Spain were washed by tons and tons of jellyfish. Tons means literally tons in terms of the weight of jellyfish that had to be removed from the beaches and the coastline just because the whole beach was covered by it. Just imagine this terrible sight and how much it ruined swimming and sunbathing for a lot of people. In fact, in the course of a few days, estimated 150 people were stung by these jellyfish. However, some of them also had to visit the hospital to be treated for their injuries. But the question rises as to why tons of jellyfish washed off the coast. Unfortunately, the main reason behind this was the drastic climatic changes in the weather. The shift in the weather brought the jellyfish to the surface, and then the winds simply pushed them into the shoreline. When this took place, it was the most busiest time and people had no idea that it would happen, and soon after that there were jellyfish everywhere. During this time multiple beaches had to be shut down and entry into this area was prohibited because of the risk that the jellyfish caused. Sea urchins. There are 950 species of this peculiar-looking aquatic creature, and they may be found on nearly every ocean's seafloor in every depth range. These spiny little creatures have a diameter of up to 4 inches, and their tube feet allow them to move slowly through their surroundings. It doesn't take a genius to work out that sea urchins can be harmful to humans. Amongst their common injuries are puncture wounds. One should be concerned about more than just the puncture wounds though, as their spines may be venomous and infectious. Some experience skin staining from the natural dye of sea urchins and others experience granuloma. A granuloma is a group of macrophages, a type of white blood cell which forms due to chronic inflammation. Even though sea urchin is a delicacy, those who come in contact with it apparently get breathing problems. The climbing perch. Given the name, it would not seem to resemble any particular animal, yet it is a fish in reality. It is native to New Zealand, but in 2015 it terrified many people because it seemed to be traveling to Australia due to some highly unusual skills. The climbing perch, as it is commonly known, has not one, but 2 extraordinary talents that make it seem something unlike a fish, despite the fact that it is. Amazingly, this fish can walk on dry land thanks to the powerful spines on its pectoral fins. The climbing perch doesn't like to stay at one spot and goes from one watering hole to another. However, once it's there it will not only get its food but set up a new home for itself. But the question lies, how does it breathe? Well, that's its other unique ability, as it has an accessory air-breathing organ on its dorsal area that can let it breathe on land. In fact, It is so powerful that it may sustain the perch on the land for up to 6 days. But how did it develop a problem for people in Australia? Well, when the creature is added to the ecosystem, things can tend to get a little bit messy. In addition, the climbing perch is reputed to be rather aggressive and is capable of readily upsetting the ecology. The amount was so great that the fisherman was instructed to keep an eye out for it and to notify the authorities if they found one.